Yo, around the Comiverse, episode 42, with your boys Crypto Rain, your girl Queen Vivi, and the real Randy Chavez. Woo!
Hi guys.
Hi
Welcome,
guys.
everyone.
What's going on, everyone?
We've got some interesting comments already. I don't know what this guy is. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Losers.
Never gonna run around and hurt you. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna make you cry.
Love it.
We got a lot of people here today. So we got a lot of news today. I think Queen Vivi was ready to talk about some of the news.
Oh, gosh, so much. So Randy, did you stream? There was a little pre-con event that was held today.
Kitty.
And it was I know Kitty wants to be in the show here. Go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. They've done well. I don't know how much of this you want to get into. How much you want to cover? There's been a lot since last week. They've had They just pretty much went over what was announced these last like 4 or 5 days, and then they had also gone a little more in depth of the story behind the addiction comic, the origin story there, and then they announced some things that were not announced previously. We have our Comic-Con specific drops, the one that have con exclusive, and then we have a couple other drops that are coming out now. I don't know if I'm gonna go over them, say that for later and stuff.
Yeah, I don't really mind. Like I said to you guys, I'm a bit behind here.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's true. It's like super early there for you, right?
Yeah. It's always in the morning. Like I just sort of woken up and gone to the market and back. I got my juice on. This thing took like half an hour to make. I got 3 liters of juice.
So they do have so there's nothing Omi or Viviverse related, at least not that was announced. But they do have Tokidoki, or the Tokimondo Kaiju, which is coming out. So yeah, these guys seem pretty cool. You have it's a blind box. There's 5 of them, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of them. The hardest one to get is a secret rare at 750. And then that's so it means 660 of them because they keep 90.
So for those of you who were around, you remember that's what you saw when you first logged in.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people that had no idea what it was.
Yeah, I had no idea Tokidokis were, but they grew on me. I've got heaps still from back in the day.
And then so that's going to be on Friday. That's another drop we're getting in conjunction with the rest. And then there's a super secret drop on Saturday. Super scarce. There's only 500 of them. It's a golden Tokidoki thing. So there's only 410 of them. I really wish that this would be something that we could use our MCP points for, because they're very, very scarce. And there's going to be a lot going on this week, but that's one of the other things that's going to happen is that. And then you're
going right, Randy? You're going?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Laurie? Are you going as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I'm not going to the con. We're going to be driving Thursday morning. So
you've got Al Khan on, right?
Yeah, Al's going to be on Queen's Court tomorrow night. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're coming in on Thursday, and then we'll be at the party early Thursday because, we get early entry as VV logo holders. That was something else they mentioned today that did I hear him right, Randy? It sounded like David said they're like 8 times over what they're supposed to be over or something for the guest list.
They are about 10 times. So what's going to happen?
He said 8 to 10, right?
Yes, it's about 10 times. So, and this is what's really
and
crazy.
He said we're thinking about opening it up possibly to the people that got the help me out, the secret rare raw and English piece. So they're already at 10x and haven't even gotten to those people. Like, where are all these people coming from?
So a lot of it, he dropped some. I don't know how much. I mean, but I don't think it. I imagine this is leaking elsewhere, so we could definitely leak it here. He was on the gold in the Discord. There's a gold logo tab where you could only get in if you have a gold and silver logo. And he dropped in the voice chat the other day, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, David, you! Oh my God, David, you!" So everyone and like their mother was in there, and he decided to drop some alpha about how many guests are going to come. And I knew already that there was maybe only about 400 or 500 VV specific peeps that were going to be there. And when I heard him say, a while back, he expects 600 to 800 people. Again, this is a while back. I was like, who else is going to be there? There's going to be dozens of VV team members there, a lot of which David has never met before. So he's that has to really, be fun for him.
Yeah, but what could that be, Randy, at most? 120, right?
I would say like 30.
Okay, 30. That's my point. Okay.
Yeah, just VV team members, not a lot, but a lot of which is going to be a lot of high-level executives of the licensors that are coming in. So Comic-Con in general is just a really big event where a lot of deals happen. Like, yeah, it's fun. The cons are great. The cosplay is amazing. The after parties, you can go and
networking.
Yeah, the after parties can get very, very R-rated. But a lot of these.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I guess, Randy, my point is, if you only have 80 gold and silver logo holders, and let's say even if those silver holders brought a guest, which like myself and William didn't, you have 2. Okay, even with that, you're looking at 160 spots max. And then add on the VV team, that's 200. Where are the other 800 people or 600, 800 people coming from?
Well, yeah, there's a lot now. So you have the people that got the Ron English Mogul Grin drop. So if they got it on the store, they're able to go and get in at some point during the night. But they're doing it in shifts. So we're getting in first from like 7 to 7:45. All about us, all about the gold and silver logo holders. And then at like 8 o'clock, they're going to let in some of the Grim people, the people that got the Ron English drop, in conjunction with a bunch of other people. And every 45 minutes to every hour, they're going to let in a little bit more people, a little bit more people, a little bit more people. Even as of 1 a.m., the last group of people will be let in. And the party ends supposedly at 2 a.m. So the last people are going to be waiting for 6 hours, and they might not even get in. And even if they do get let in at 1 a.m., it's kind of the tail end of the party. It's kind of the last hour there. So it's really, really wild. Not everyone's going to get in. This is the importance of the gold and silver VV logo. Next time, we might not get so lucky, everyone else, to be, as long as I get this Ron English drop from the store, then I could be able to get in. That might not happen next year. And again, they've announced that they're going to have some high-level executives in there. So you are probably going to be able to see some people, oh my God, this person created this person's in charge of that. So we're not 100% sure who's going to be there. I don't know exactly what type of celebrities on there. There's a couple of them, a couple of like VV celebrities and a couple of celebrities that people are not necessarily associated with VV yet.
Right.
I don't know how much of it's going to be done by VV and done by Funko, because even though it is VV's party, Funko is the one that rented the whole thing out. It is 21 plus.
So if you don't have a logo and you didn't get the drop, can you just go and wait in line, or you just?
There are people that they've had dozens of people, if not hundreds at this point, that are like, hey, I'll just give you $250. Let me go in. And they don't even like want anything. They just want to go in the party, probably get selfies with people and probably do whatever. But there's no, I don't think you can at this point. You'd have to pay an absurdly large amount of money to somebody that, has either a logo or that has a Ron English invitation. Outside of that, you can't get in.
Yeah, that was kind of my question. I wondered.
Randy, are you heading to New York Comic Con or the VV party?
No, I've got some other business interests I'm taking care of that week. It's unfortunate, but I'll probably go next year to all the events. So, and I'll probably get my logo. I put it off. I'm definitely not going to buy it right now because like all the hype, right? Right now it's in focus. Why? Because you need it to get in this party and everyone's talking about the party, which is great. But I always buy things when they're boring. And I think it makes sense to pick it up at some point. But there is one that just popped up for $5,000, which isn't a bad deal.
No, and I'll let you in on something. There might be one going up for auction. It's coming straight from David Yu's original and having the original card mailed directly to you. so you can redeem it. So
That's cool.
Do we know which numbers haven't been redeemed? Because that would be cool. You could
I don't know that, but well, we're going to be having a charity event here soon, and that's going to be one of the we're going to be auctioning off a gold logo, gold and silver original OG.
There is at least 8 of them that are sub 100. So there's 79 I think that are unredeemed, and out of those 79, like 7 or 8, so like 10% of them are sub 100. So if you buy something unredeemed, there's a good chance, there's a 10% chance. So it's not like the small tiny chance that you can get something that's
cool.
sub 100.
Cool. There you go. So
it'd be really interesting, like 20 years from now, if like the lineage is really important, if people are like, man, I really want a collectible that was once owned by Randy, which may happen, right? Because that is the beauty of blockchain, and it's unclear because we've actually never really been someplace where proving the lineage was possible, right? You could say, oh, that Picasso was once owned by somebody, and you can kind of prove it, but that's only if you're buying like a Picasso level thing. But right now, it'll be right in the blockchain. You can see that, oh my gosh, I bought this from Randy. I'm going to hold on to this for forever, because we all know Randy's going to be like famous in being like
billionaire
next 700 years, right? In 700 years, people will be talking about Randy and Vivi together. They'll be synonymous.
And that's a good point, Rain, because that's why I value mine so much, because it came from David. It'd be very hard for me to sell, even if I could pick it up later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say like right now, I knew it was going to be $4,000 or something, and I could sell it right now for $7,000. Everyone in the world would probably say, you're dumb. Make $3,000 and go back and buy the same thing. But I wouldn't, because I like the lineage of having the card, knowing it came right from David. So I know what you're saying about that blockchain, same thing with like, if it's with
there's a chance, and I'd say the chance is decent that becomes a big deal, and that the fewer trades it has, it's kind of like, people want to know how many times their wife has had sex, or their fiance before they get married, right? So the number of times it's changed hands is important.
I don't know. Do you really want to know that, Crypto Rain? Do you really want to?
The women lie. No, just joking.
Whatever it is, multiply it by 10. No.
Whatever they say, yes. Because there's certain
zero to it.
On that, right? So,
I'm joking.
But on the blockchain, it's provable. Imagine if sex was that way, right?
I also heard a rumor
that soon enough you might punch a card. You never know.
There's been a rumor going around that I've never felt the warmth of a woman, and I can't get any woman on camera to say otherwise. So as of right now, tends to be true.
Oh, Randy. It's funny. We joked
we
about
all know that's not true. Anybody who knows Randy and how the women react to him know that cannot be true unless he just turns it down all the time, which maybe.
Which that would make it a very ironic name that you have there, Randy.
The real version,
Randy in Australian. Oh, never mind.
Oh, right. Yeah, I get it.
Well, how did we jump off the track? But anyways, what I was saying,
we were talking about R-rated after parties.
Is
seeped in.
It's nice, the lineage, at least it coming from the company owner. I could see that, like, you know what I mean? Like that makes you feel, where. Anyways.
I think we just have to invent a new app, guys. It's a body count on the blockchain.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Could you imagine?
Tracking Logan Paul's fiance's real body count. Actually, I think they've got that dialed in pretty well now because of social media, right?
Well, it'd probably be more comfortable if you just got an email rather than someone calling you on the phone and being like, hey, we dated 6 months ago. I have chlamydia, That's got to be a hard phone call to make and get.
Just put it on the blockchain. It's all there.
Put it on the blockchain.
Oh, man.
Transparency.
There are some downsides to having everything tracked. There are certain things that, people don't want tracked. They don't want, and one of that is medical privacy, right? Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
Speaking of Logan Paul, any of you guys watching the fight this weekend?
What fight?
Fighting?
Yeah, Logan Paul's fighting Dylan Dennis, I think it is. He's the guy who was exposing Logan Paul's girlfriend, and now Logan Paul's girlfriend is now suing him. So it's all going crazy.
Oh wow!
I wonder even if the girlfriend thing was all a publicity stunt. What I have to say about Logan Paul is he is brilliant at getting everyone in the world talking about him. Like, think about how brilliant. And I imagine that whole proposal possibly was planned like that. And then this fight and everything is all like, oh yeah, let's go with it. Let's get as much media as possible. Like, the guy's brilliant that way.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is the YouTube influencers are doing bigger fights than any boxers or any MMA fighters ever did. It's just insane that they're getting bigger numbers just from YouTube.
Well, this is what made certain fighters geniuses, because the key isn't your boxing skills near as much as your promoting skills, which is what you're finding out with these YouTubers, right? They're better promoters, so they'll draw a bigger audience than the pro fighters do. Why? Because these guys are top level promoters.
Ooh, we got somebody. Yo,
hey, what's up? What's up, guys? How
What's
are you?
your body count? You walked into a very interesting conversation. And I'm on cold meds, so
of cougars.
I don't know. I saw a picture. I woke up the other day to a picture of Danny in curlers, and I'm like, and I can't read. I can't see very well, so I just see him in these curlers, and I'm like, what did I not know about him? I'm like,
I'm a girl dad, so I never knew. My daughter does my hair.
Nice.
She likes to practice on me.
That's funny.
Test on me.
Yeah,
that's cool. What's been happening, Danny?
Nothing, man. Just chilling. I was in that space earlier. Pretty cool stuff. Comic-Con's on the way. Excited.
You're up to date on the news.
Yeah, pudding.
What was that, Randy? Is that you modeling?
No, that's Puddin' Cheeks in his most recent TikTok. Puddin' Cheeks. I love him. I saw him at Decon last year. Very, very huggable, but I just.
Danny, you going to ConnyCon?
Yeah, I'm going to Comic-Con. I'll be there. I'll be there on Saturday. I'll be at the the parties Thursday, Friday. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Are you a VV gold and silver logo holder?
I'm not. No. I got the Ron English drop. Yep.
Randy says you might have to wait in line for a few hours.
I'm a +1 also on someone. So
okay.
VV, the gold holders get +1. So
that's cool.
Someone's I was disappointed that I was getting in at 11. Someone said they'd get me in, so appreciate that person.
Awesome. Is that like a
my husband and I didn't +1, and maybe we should have for other members of the community. That would have been smart, but
then is that from like a fan? Is that like a VV fan or
a community member? Yeah, Sanjay
cool.
actually, paired me up
it's
with
awesome
him.
Being able to interact with the community like this. Like that's
one
of the reasons I love VV.
Yeah.
There's not at the after party. There's definitely going to be a bunch of celebrities obviously at the con, both that are signing autographs. Like a few years ago, I saw Ryan Reynolds. But he wasn't in like a line. He wasn't signing things. He was in his Deadpool outfit, and then he lifts up his mask and goes, "Hey!" and then he pulls it back down. I was like,
because most people just think it'll be some random, right? They don't know it's actually.
Yeah, they don't know.
It's awesome.
Ryan Reynolds, isn't he legendary? Like, he's a big comic nerd, right? And you see it come out in his humor. Like, this guy knows so much about everything we grew up with, like Transformers and just all the funny humor that he drops in his movies. That guy's a legend.
Yeah, there's a new Deadpool movie coming, right? Is that next year?
Yeah, they're making it, right?
Deadpool 3?
Yeah, Taylor Swift's going to be in it. Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And is Wolverine in that as well?
Yeah.
I know Dr. Stuff goes crazy over Wolverine.
Yeah, so it's going to be so there's a comic book run called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and they're doing that run in this movie, but it's going to be Deadpool Kills the Fox Marvel Universe, and it's leading up to Secret Wars. Loki should be in it too. They're going to hint at it later in the Loki series. That first episode drops a few days ago, and there's a bunch of people messing with the timeline. There's Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, there's Loki with the Time Variance Authority, and then there's Deadpool with his time traveling thing with Cable's time traveling machine going around and making a bunch of incursions. and he's going to go around killing all of the Marvel Fox universe. It's going to be really fun. Can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think Rain and I are both pretty keen on going next year. If for me, it would be if Omi gets over 2 cents, guys, I'm there. Over 2 cents, and I can easily afford
Why
to.
not 1 cent?
1 cent. You know, I'd rather buy.
I think you could
I'll
swing
be
it.
buying my dream house. I'm gonna pay tax. It's
Oh.
not.
It's not
quite
like you don't like you have more Omi than anyone here. So I feel like
Yeah,
at
I mean,
1 cent.
At half a penny, you could probably sell, a couple 100,000 and pay for the plane ticket.
Yeah, but there's smart investment decisions and less smart investment decisions. Selling it low, half a penny is like,
That's not that much. It's like a fraction of his bag.
I mean, if you're doing, I figure I know you said your income's a bit less now because you sold business and everything, but for January, Vivi's going to at least France, and they might be going somewhere else, but they're going to at least France. And if we're at half a penny, I mean, I have no issue selling 1 million Omi because that's what, $5,000.
Yeah.
Like just 1 million Omi just in order to go there, which I might not need to as long as other stuff is happening.
We may to go there. I'd have to bring my whole family as well. So we got like 4 tickets and probably be there for like a week.
And that doesn't quadruple the cost. It increases it more.
I forgot
so
people
we're
have
talking
those.
like probably $20,000-$30,000. So I'll make it worthwhile.
That's quite a trip.
Yeah.
But that's all right. We'll do it. Like that's what I say. I want 2 cents. 2 cent Omi, guys, by next year sometime. Before this time.
I believe in making enough through crypto. You can throw that in passive income assets so that you can go to the VV thing every year and not even blink the money you're spending.
I like it.
Preach.
Rain, is there anywhere that you park crypto or that you're interested in parking crypto in the future that will make like a return?
So let me see if I understood the correct. Is there any place you can park crypto and like make a passive return on it, kind of like owning a building or something?
Like Ethereum and ADA you can stake,
right? Yeah. Running your own nodes in ETH, or hopefully you're running it in a staking pool and it survives. That's the only one that's proven. Bumper boasts like being able to provide a real yield, but they recently launched. It's yet to be proven. I think it's going to be successful and everything where you can just park stables, providing some value to Bumper, and you'll be earning somewhere between 3 to 15% like real yield, because you're essentially providing a form of insurance on those that are going long on something and they want to protect the position of it. And so that might be like a decent, and if that averages to say 7 or 8%, that's really not a bad place to be. So say you make 200, let's use a number people can wrap their minds around, 10 million. And some people can't wrap their minds around that yet. Just know that that's possible within a 4 to 8 year period when you're deadly serious about crypto. 10 million after you pay your taxes, and you throw 10 million into something like that, and it's earning you a real yield of 6%. Then you're talking about 600,000 per year passive income. That's significant. That's life-changing. That's 50,000 US per month, or whatever denomination you're in. So,
and you could. What are you getting Ethereum right now? Is it like 5% return on Ethereum and ADA something similar?
Well, I think the actual yield that you're getting is less than 5%, but then you factor in appreciation, right? So the downside of putting in something like USDC is that the dollar is a depreciating asset, loses half its value every 10 or 15 years now. And whereas ETH is going to go up in value. So ETH is a better yield, because even if it's only yielding 4%, when you factor in the appreciation, you might be averaging like 20% return year on year. So
which is great.
That's probably where I'm going to park a lot of my assets is in ETH. The downside is when you're taking profits out of crypto, right? Well, you don't want to throw it in ETH, because ETH is going to go to the downside too when the whole market corrects. So my current thought is you take profits and say something like Omi, which I'll be doing. And people are like, why are you selling your Omi? It's like, well, Omi is an asset. There's probably a certain amount of Omi that I won't sell. And it's probably whatever the threshold is to keep master collector status. But then take profits on it. Of course, that's why I buy so much Omi, because I plan to sell it at a certain point. and then take profits, throw it in Omi, and then bumper it, because then you can protect your downside. So if it does go down, well, it's cool. Then you just cash in the protection and bam, buy more ETH with it. So that's
Randy,
probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
Randy, you know the answer to this one?
Superior Spider-Man physical only. Yes, it is only going to be able. So they announced a physical comic as well, and I don't know if anyone's ever read Superior Spider-Man. We all read it?
No.
It starts off where Spider-Man's kind of like a dick to, like, you know, this cop and this kid, and then he's like, man, this is a little weird, you know, maybe Spider-Man's having a bad day, and then he's like, hey, Captain America wants to talk to you, and he's like, oh, he's awake, and they're talking about Doc Ock, and I won't go through the whole thing, but long story short, he goes and he has a conversation with Doc Ock, and you find out that Peter Parker and Dr. Octavius' minds have been switched. So it's Doc Ock in Spider-Man's mind. And I won't give the story away, but it's one of the most beautiful, barbaric, yet amazing stories that I think has ever been written about Spider-Man. So Superior Spider-Man, they have, I think, 1,000 books. It's not a lot of books. So it's the first physical comic that's going to have VV on the cover from Marvel. And that's going to be only at the Marvel booth, I think, starting on Thursday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's going to be two special. Yeah, there's going to be 2 special editions, right, Randy? A blue and a red, and they're going to have the VV insignia in the back. They posted it like on the back of the comic, and they're only going to be available at the con. So I believe the prices were $20 for one, I think, Randy, and then $50 for the bundle with the Virgin. But I don't know what Virgin means. Is that like
Randy?
Not ink. That was the joke I made with my husband. I swear to God, I'm like, I need to ask Randy.
They put Randy's number on there.
We're gonna have like 20 women volunteering to take Randy's virginity.
That's his game.
You can auction it on the blockchain.
He's honest enough. He'll be like, I hate to break this to you, but
what did I miss?
Not steal my seed so easily.
I can't remember.
You came too late, Danny.
So I have the what do you call it? I'm trying to figure out how to get there because I have press passes, so I should be able to get in early. But I have an Airbnb on Wednesday night and then a different one on Thursday night. So I check out of the Airbnb at 11 a.m. on Thursday, and I can't check into the other one until 3 p.m. So I'm stuck for like a few hours. I'm not sure what to do with my luggage and stuff. So I think it's first come, first serve. So I don't know, like, if you see me coming in there with like a backpack.
No, you could bring your luggage to our hotel room.
Oh, okay. Can we get there early?
Oh, wait a minute. We're not going to be in yet on Thursday. Well, somebody can help you. Somebody's going to be in.
Somebody watching this stream is going to hit Randy up after this. They'll be able to help him.
Yeah. I might just come in to Comic-Con with all my stuff and be like, all right, guys, I'm here for the comic. I'll interview someone and then I'll bounce and then I'll shower and then I'll get ready for the book. Because it's like a major, it's a 7-hour party, the after party. So I don't know how long we're going to be spending at the con on Thursday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Woo. Kazami just ordered his MetaQuest 3. Hopes to be on the Vverse with it. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to order one soon as well. MetaQuest 3 looks awesome.
Sleepin', speaking of comics, right? Sleepin' Comics is in here. One of my favorite people that covers comics in VV says Virgin has no title or issue number, which probably what that comment is about.
That's a comic, right? It's a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask Sleepin', or actually I did want to ask him. It's like psychic today. Why or how rare is it to have Marvel produce a special variant cover for a company? Because if you guys remember, whenever Vivi got invited to be at Marvel's booth at Comic-Con, that was a first ever. Like and I learned that, through the comic guys, like that's not normal. Marvel doesn't just like pick people and share their booth with them or, at cons. So I'm curious the rarity of this particular event, VV having their own variant cover with the marking, of the company on those covers. I'm just curious if that's frequent or,
Too bad Sleepin's not in here.
I know, who's Sleeping?
He was here last week. He was on the channel.
Yeah, we're not even talking about X-Men 1, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
that's the BFD. I've seen people crawl out of the woodwork that, these are some of these ex-VV fudders saying, "Oh yeah, let's go X-Men 1." I'm like, yeah, okay. Can't help themselves. So,
should we speculate on what the big surprise is? You guys saw that in the tweet, right? I think VV is saying there's a big surprise happening.
I think that was the surprise.
Yeah, I think that was it.
The comics?
The comics, yeah.
Yeah, the comics, the Tokidoki, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have Paramount Pictures. David's been teasing that for quite a while. Obviously they're not going to announce that this week. It can be done. You see online stores do it. It costs a hefty. Oh, wow. All right. So I guess, yeah, I do see, because you know how we have the rare and ultra rare cover variants, I think that's just one of like dozens of other variants that happens to. So I think that's why it hasn't really caught on yet. Big freaking deal.
Wait, big freaking deal, or is he joking like big freaking deal?
Oh no, he was asking what it meant. Like he was asking what BFD meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we think we know what the surprise is. They haven't actually said that though yet, have they? Right? Like
I think that was the surprise.
Yeah, and I think the physical cover variant is a dope one. I think that's a nice, new direction for them to go in and think about, like, if that that's exposure to traditional comic collectors also, and that's like a nice way to market to that sector of physical collectors.
Anybody buying the Funko? Anyone here buying the Funko? Yeah, Laurie. Yeah.
Awesome. If we can, I mean, I was hoping that with. There might be some kind of whitelist or something,
for gold logo holders.
For the gold logo holders. I wouldn't expect it for free, but damn, it would be nice to be whitelisted for it, at least the opportunity to buy it. But
yeah,
I think you'll be able to get it. Right, there are a couple thousand of them at 150.
I think there's 1,500 at. Is it 1,500?
Yeah, I think it's 2,000.
Yeah, 3,000.
Oh, 3,000. Okay.
Oh, see, I think you'll be able to get it.
Yeah.
That's
You're going to need to
cool.
put in another shelf behind you, Lori.
I know. Oh, this isn't even the half of it. This is my son. This is where all my paycheck goes to, his cut.
So how many different things are going on? We got the Funkos, we got the comics, we've got the Tokidokis, and we've got all the X-Men drops. Is that it's crazy.
And then more Ron English.
The other comic. Yeah.
Ron English.
Yeah. Comic. And did you say Ron English as well?
Ron English. The Ron English comic is another comic that's going to be dropped.
Yeah, he's got a really interesting design, and there's only 2,888 of them, and they're keeping 40 from each. So the first available public edition will be number 81. Mm-hmm. They're $7 each. So these are them. You got the little, and they look in Ron English fashion. They look really weird, but I really like them. We have those, and then at some point we are going to get some other Frank Kozik pieces, the last stuff that he had designed before he passed away. I'm not 100% sure when we're going to get those at though.
Cool. We got so much is happening this week. Yeah. It's going to be an awesome week. Who's still stacking Omi? Anyone here still buying?
I haven't bought recently.
Been buying a little bit here and there. He's been buying steadily though. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Can you reveal what you guys are up to?
Hopefully Ben Cadenzi isn't out of Omi. Come on, Ben. I'm counting on you selling some more. I really, really, really like this.
Yeah.
Price go down to point.
We haven't heard from Ben in a while.
No, he's been quiet.
Yeah, he's like a mystery. What happened to Ben?
Busy losing lawsuits. We'll get the I'm up to 175. If there's I'll get some more in late October, early November. Just I gotta recover. This is gonna be a very expensive week.
So SoCal has been talking about the Vverse. He said there's new cinematic shading, and he said there's upgraded movement modeling mechanics.
I think he's referring to
the Ron English, yeah, right?
And the X-Men stuff as well.
The X-Men stuff has certain, yeah.
I'm not talking about Vverse. Okay.
Yeah. Talking about the drop.
Apparently, Ben is always watching, guys. Thanks, Vivi Fan Man. Who's coming to the VV event in France? I think Randy said he might do it if you can. If you can.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they have bronze tickets announced by that point, I mean, it shouldn't be. If they have bronze tickets announced and we're at like 0.002, 0.003, I sell 1 or 2 million, to go, and that's if I even need to sell it. But I've been holding for like 2.5 years now, or be almost 3 years by that point, and I will already be in that area already. I don't know if I told anyone. I guess that's not. I will be going to Dubai in January, so I'll already be across the pond. I'll be across the sea, and then while I'm there, it's like, okay, I'll just take another quick flight to France. France. Nice. I don't see that TikTok.
Ron English comic drop an independent comic. Anyone know? I think Sleeping would probably know that.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. In conjunction with Vivi.
And we just had a bunch of the viewers here saying that they are buying Omi. There's Planet Vampire. We got Bill Garner. We got SoCal saying he's gonna buy Omi instead of going to New York Comic Con, which makes sense at the price that Omi's at. Like it's cheap.
Yeah, I can't blame you. If I wasn't
whatever you do, don't buy cheap. Just wait till everybody's it's gone way up, and then like the masses do. Buy high, hoping it goes higher, but don't buy cheap. I mean, that's only what the smart people do. Why would you want to do the smart thing? Buy expensive, like all the people who left VV or Omi because the price was low. Be smart like them.
You mean we've got a comment here. Only because you really don't care. Cavell hasn't posted a video in weeks.
Yeah.
Poor Cavell.
Isn't it amazing how many people leave crypto because the price performance is low, which is the exciting time of like when you get in, right? Oh my God, I'm done. It hasn't done this and it's going bad. It's the middle of a crypto winter. What do they expect? VV's token Omi is going to go crazy in the middle of a crypto winter. It can happen. Just it's like having a spot of grass amidst a snowstorm. It can happen. It just doesn't usually happen. Everything's covered in snow. And so they're expecting something that can't happen and then disappointed when it doesn't. And then all of a sudden it comes spring and then summer and there's all this amazing grass. And, and then those who weather the winter, and especially that were smart and like stocked up during the winter, then they enjoy these beautiful gains. And guess what? That's when the people come back. And they're paying like 20x the price, 100x the price. And then they're all like, oh my gosh, I knew Omi would be successful. And it's like, no, you didn't. We remember.
I think though we see I think we see a lot though of, especially when we see content creators go rogue on the project. At least the ones that I've seen do that, it seems like a lot of them do it because of a kind of a lack of appreciation. I think, to a degree from the company, lack of recognition. If you look at
why do they need, so how much I was the first
I'm just saying whether they think they brought the community in, whether they created, whether, Vivi didn't return Paul Barron's phone calls, whether Hello K didn't take the team's advice to do a billion things that would have made them better. Whether
you're right that they totally let their ego get in the way.
Whether Vivi didn't follow them or block them.
They didn't get a Vivi logo. I think some people stole because they didn't get a Vivi logo.
I mean, if you look at all these people that kind of turn on the project, if you combine all their viewers, even though they probably overlap, you're looking at like 50,000. And they all. But I don't know. I see a
There
lot of
also
that.
is massive overlap because the VV community like subscribes to every person.
That's true. That's
And
true.
so it's kind of like, yes, it's not like they can take their followers though, because they're not following that person. They're following VV, and because they follow VV, they're also following that person. So that person leaving, they don't realize they can't pull a bunch of people over because really the people are just following them because they want VV content. So when they leave VV, they're just like, oh well, darn it.
That's a really good point.
One less person.
It's not you, it's Vivi.
Yeah, and so their ego gets inflated. Like, oh my gosh,
sorry, Randy, it's not you.
Like, yeah.
I know exactly who I am. I know exactly. If anyone's ever seen House of Cards, Kevin Spacey in that first episode, he talks about at the time President Walker, and he's like, "Oh, when I saw him, I made myself important, attached myself early," and I saw that a few years ago. I knew exactly what Vivi was doing. I knew that I was nothing special, but I had a little bit of viewership from Pokemon, Tesla, and Earth 2. I was like, "Hey, let's convert these guys." And I looked it up. I don't know if I looked it up last week for you guys, but I had 379 live streams and 275 videos in 2022, which amounts to 654 pieces of content. Wow. And I did that because I know that Vivi's going to blow up, and I know that people are going to associate me with Vivi, even though I haven't done anything special. I just talk about what they're doing. They're doing all the work, and it's a cheat code to get your name associated with, eventually a household name. Make yourself important early.
Well, I think part of why people are drawn to you so much, Randy, is there isn't the ego in the way. So you would never make a stupid choice of like, I'm mad, they're not respecting me enough, I'm leaving, and I'm going to take all my followers with me, and realize the followers don't come with them. You know, and so you wouldn't make it about the ego, because that's just an ego thing. I was the very first crypto YouTuber to cover the VV app. Have I gotten any recognition? Did they mail me a VV logo? No, they didn't mail me a VV logo. Should I leave? Well, why would I leave? Like, that would be dumb. Does it hurt my feelings? Well, no, like I don't cover VV exclusively, so it all makes sense. But like, so why would I need recognition from them? Look, either they're a smart investment or they're not. Are they a smart investment? I think so. My personal portfolio towards them says so. So yeah, like and I like what they're doing. I encourage what they're doing. They happen to have amazing people leading the company, in my personal opinion. So I'm very bullish on them. Now, would I be bullish on them if Omi's price was $10? Would I be telling my audience, yes, I'm buying more? No way would I be buying more at $10, because I'm thinking price correction. So will I cover them less when their price is $10? Yes, I will, because I'm more on the investment side, whereas many of you are more on like VV Forever side. So
yeah, and we know some of it's just silly. I mean, even trying to make the comparison, our buddies over at PBN saying, Recur was higher than VV, and it's like, okay, let's go back and revisit that today. Really? Or are you still going to stick with that?
That was only a few months ago, right? That wasn't that long ago. And
it wasn't. It was like,
yeah,
most
like of the projects they covered failed, right? Majority of the projects they covered failed.
And they shut down. It's like, wow, we're going to the Funko party in New York City, and I don't even know if I could get my whatever off of there, but they're kicking ass. So.
And anyone who was making those calls, because they have continually been in first place for like the longest time. The only ones you could say that really compete with them don't compete directly, they compete indirectly, which is like NFL All Day and NBA Top Shots, and they compete somewhat indirectly in a narrow market. Mm-hmm. And then there's the ones with international football, and they have their own chain, Chili's, right? And they have some franchises related to football or in the U.S. soccer, related to that, but they don't compete directly. They compete indirectly. They're the only ones kind of on VV's league, in my opinion. Like Recur never should have been placed above what VV was doing, because nobody had sales like VV did. So anybody placing anyone else above VV was just biased for some weird reason, right? I always try to ask, what is the data? What is the truth? Because the truth is what makes me money. bias. I don't care about the bias. My YouTube channel, the YouTube side doesn't pay hardly anything. I take almost no sponsors or strategic partners. So I'm always after the truth because I'm not trying to slant it one way or the other. So why anyone said anything different, I'm like, that doesn't add up to me other than some biases entering because of sponsorships or just personalities that they like or don't like, because the facts are on Vivi's side. Like the amount of audience that's buying in the middle of the crypto winter and buying their collectibles is crazy high. And that was what the data and facts showed. And anyone saying something different, like Paul Barron's network of like the list of like top whatever, I'm like, that doesn't add up to me. What he's using to get those metrics doesn't add up. I don't even understand where he's coming from.
I think that whole list,
like his channel, other than the stance he took against Vivi, I'm like, yeah, there must be some politics or some like, you know, got my feelings hurt or something over this. Yeah. The stance didn't make sense.
I don't know if it was like predicated on like some ideology of what he wants, and Paul Barron or what the team, whatever, what they expect from a quote unquote Web3 company, and them feeling that Vivi doesn't adhere to that standard. But at the same time, you know, in terms of like self-custody and things like that, which Vivi doesn't have right now. But at the same time, they totally diminished the most important thing, which was adoption and community and traction in the space. So yeah, I thought that was a totally flawed rating system.
And it's true that it isn't full Web3, but most everything isn't Web3, right? Is NBA Top Shots really Web3? No, and the truth is Web3 it's got a longer adoption curve. If you're smart in this space, you don't want to be full Web3. Haven't we seen that with Todd McFarlane stuff? It's really complicated, right? And people like, I even know the space and I can't even figure out how to buy one of these things. Whereas Vivi, you go in the app and you load in some gems, whether on your computer or on your phone, and bam, you can buy it. So Web3, people aren't ready for it anyway. And if you're part of the reason they've been so successful is they gave the on-ramps closest to what people already know how to do.
Yeah, it was really one of the most brilliant things they did was make it so easily accessible to people and create shortcuts and put the complicated stuff on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, the idea about VV though is that they can do both, right? They can be 2.5 and 3.
Yes.
Like they that's the ultimate goal, is for them to be interoperable, but also like most people won't touch it. Most people are going to keep it where it is, but those that want to take it off will eventually be able to, and that'll be amazing because there's no one that's actually done that. No one's done that properly.
Yeah, it'll be massive.
It takes time
if they follow through on it. I hope they do.
But even taking it off and it pointing back to an asset versus taking it off and being an asset of its own are different too, because that was one of the things that happened with McFarlane too, right? Yes, you owned it, but it was pointing back to.
Yeah, there's a server, and if the server shuts down, you've lost your assets, right?
Which isn't exactly ownership either, right?
It's not on chain. It's not like minted on the blockchain,
right?
Like crypto punks, right?
Right. So even that's like, so
there's always that Web 2 element, even in these Web 3 projects, or what people think are Web 3 projects. The servers are, you're relying on a cloud service.
That's right.
Yeah. So some of the downsides of Web 2.0, if you get your VV account locked, you're screwed. Why? Because you don't have access at that point. So there are some risks of it. And I like the idea of Web 3. But in order to get the massive audience and traction you need, as Recur found out and other companies found out, give people closer in line to what they're used to make it easy for them to get it, which is why Vivi was able to get so much traction. When I first saw their web app, and how I know I was first on Vivi videos is because I was like, I couldn't even pronounce the name. And so I searched on YouTube for anything related to Vivi videos. I couldn't find anything. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, I covered it like that day, and then I covered it again the next day, but I wasn't even pronouncing the name right because I couldn't find any videos by anybody on it. And I was like, it's so easy to get money on here and they can buy it. And this is the first Batman. I was like, they gave everybody something in line with what they're used to. And so we'll be able to get a lot of adoption quickly. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why I suspected like the Todd McFarlane Batman was going to do really well, and that Vivi as a company or Ecomi, his company, would do well because their app was so easy to use. And I was calling it Vive. I didn't even know how to pronounce it because there was no videos on it. I couldn't, so yeah.
I think that's also how Gary V pronounced it, right? Vive.
Oh, you can
He
always
pronounced it that
do
way
it.
down the road after there's all kinds of information on it. It's like, Gary just didn't do his research, but
No, yeah, he's just trolling, I think. Gary's a troll.
probably trolling, yes.
I see you, Rain, with the muscle milk over there.
Yes. I am getting some muscles up, right? So, yeah.
How often do you do gym per week at the moment?
4 to 10 times per week.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Loving it.
Yeah, it's fun. Work on getting your money in order. Now, I let my body go while I was like working full time and then doing crypto research every night, and pandemic and gyms closed down for a year and a half where I was at. It was stupid. So like I wanted to work out, but the gym was closed and stuff. And I gained a whole bunch of weight and stuff. And I was like, I want to make muscles and just fitness a better priority. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. What's crazy is it's very easy if you're actually pretty physically active, you work out, a couple times a week or whatever. If you injure yourself or you don't do that working out, but you keep eating the same way, you put on weight really quick. Like I put on 10% body weight in like a few weeks when I broke my ribs last year. And but it came off just as quick once I started working out again. Mm-hmm. And so it's pretty interesting. It like if I didn't get a handle on it, my dad has a big gut. And like he's always like, oh, when you get over 30, your metabolism slows down and you're going to get a big gut. I'm like, nah, that's never happening to me. Every day I check the weight, not obsessively, just once, just to make sure that I'm not like flying up in weight. Because if that ever happens, man, I'm going to like do everything I can to lose that weight. I don't.
It's totally within control, right? But you can't just continue eating bad and have the weight continue to stay off as you get older. Right. Except for some people I know like to just have freak genetics that they're just blessed. But I didn't get those genetics. So when I wasn't working out and I was doing some work, which involves some travel and some computer time, like driving and computer time, because I was negotiating real estate deals. And then I'd come home and sit at a computer for like 6 hours researching crypto and reading white papers and listening to YouTube videos and as much as I could find. Yeah, I just wasn't getting enough activity yet. I was continuing to eat too much and packed on a lot of weight. And then I was like, well, life's less fun when you're fat. So why not make life more fun by not being fat was what was going through my mind. So
words to live by. Life's not fun when you're fat.
Yeah, break it down into simple terms that we can all understand. And that's what was going through my mind. Life is no fun when you're fat. And I was fat. Like I'm down 60 pounds from what I was.
Wow. Oh, that's massive.
That's great.
Good job, man.
Unfortunately, there's still 30 more to go. But, the first 60 makes a big difference on your physique. Yeah. The last 30 actually makes a difference, but it goes, all the muscles pop more, right? So
it's almost exponential, right?
I'm excited for the last 30, right? Because then everything just pops more because it's all there. Some of it's just hidden by padding. So.
Yeah, I heard everybody has a six-pack.
I have an amazing six-pack. I just got some layers on top of it, right?
Yeah, I heard everyone has a six-pack, right? Just about everyone has a six-pack. Yeah. You just can't see it.
You can't see it.
Can't see it.
We have a comment here about. Do you guys? Anyone know here about Almond X?
Yeah,
I
have a couple of drops.
Yeah, so Trenton Hood says it's as easy as buying on VV, but it's actually a proper Web3 project. And I always see it coming up as like an advertisement in my X or Twitter feed. And I haven't really looked into it much.
So timing is important, right? So VV came out at a critical time during a bear market and allowed them, or bull market. They came out with their app during the bear market. November was still very much the bear market. Like people like me realized what was going on. And I was as excited as can be in November of 2020. And I'm freaking out because all the right things are setting up, but everyone else was still way bearish. And they're like, oh, the crypto bull run's never going to happen. So, and VV's app came out during that time. And and then Ecomi really pumped in February, and early March is one of my subscribers. And I had forgotten, even though I invested in their pre-sale, I didn't know how to keep track of Ecomi. So I didn't know what the hell was going on with them. And when I looked at the token, I was like, don't I own that? I'm not even sure. And then I started researching it, found their VV app, and I was like, this VV app is killer. This is killer. And they were able to catch that momentum of the bull market and really launch and get that trajectory that they didn't have to pay for all these ads. And so now they have this momentum. They don't have to pay for all these ads just to sell out their drops. And so these other companies are a major disadvantage, right? They're paying for all these ads and they're still not getting the traction.
So apparently VV is a partner of Almond X. I don't know how.
Yeah, Almond X, it's been around for a while. You guys may remember when they talked about dropping the Mona Lisa. They dropped Starry Night. They dropped a bronze sculpture of the Thinker. They're pretty pricey. You know, they're pricier items. I have a couple. You know, the question with those are, you could also find, you know, 1,000 additional Mona Lisas on OpenSea. You know, the question with those will be is, you know, are they special enough? I think they're an AR, which that sets them apart. But with those kinds of like a public license, if you will, you know, they're not IP. They can be reducible, you know, reproduced, and they are reproduced multiple times. Yeah. What is going to make that one the project and or that one, you know, coveted? So that's kind of where I'm at. But I do have a few pieces. We did have Mona Lisa. We sold it. But that's Almond X. They partnered also with Patrick Hughes. Was it Randy that they partnered with?
Yeah, they did one with him as well.
So yeah, they did partner for one artist drop, but they're very they're art centric, and they're, you know, they're good. It's just they're not necessarily producing something that's, you know, first
not
on the
big
block.
brands, not like big brands like VV.
Yeah, it's art, but like I said, if you could go on OpenSea and find, you know, 100 representations of Mona Lisa because it's public IP, you know, is theirs going to be the one, you know, that is going to bring great value, you know, or value, or if you just love it later on. So that's kind of where I'm just like, You know.
We have a good question here from Booth 777. Danny the Bull, would you like to make a price prediction for next bull run?
Yeah, I think conservatively, I think 2 to 3 cents. I think bullish prediction would be around 5 cents.
Randy?
I tend to be a conservative person.
My base case would be around 10 at the height of the next bull market. You know, bear case would be around 2 to 3 cents. And, you know, what could happen, which I don't expect to, but, you know, you can get a 20 to 30 cents if everything hits right. Like, you could go higher, but I'm just, in general, bull case, like super mega bull, yeah, you could probably do 30 cents. But again, my base case is like 10. And I don't be taking small profits.
Dr. Stuff said it could get to multiple dollars. So
yes.
I mean, you could have some massive burns here. I mean, if you look at the reserve wallet, we're burning at about an average of 30 billion per year, and that's just with the normal people buying stuff on the app. If you take in, you know, bronze tickets, Omi to accessory, the gem liquidity pool, a bunch of stuff they haven't announced yet, the land sale, other burns from the business development wallet, the fact that a lot of people are going to stake. David, Dan, and Dr. Profit have 90 billion total that's theirs, and they might sell a little bit, but they're not going to sell like tens of billions. You actually have the potential for a very massive squeeze, and yes, that type of thing could happen, but everything has to hit, and 1% of 1% chance.
And I will say that when I consider where I think it's going to go, I don't take into consideration major burns from circulating supply, just because we haven't seen them in effect yet, and I don't know how long it's going to take for them to implement all the burning mechanisms. So I think once I see that how the rate of burn, I think I'll have a better idea of where I think it can go.
Yeah, well, so this is just our, you know, not financial advice, guys. We're just predicting on what we can see right now. And yeah, as you said, Danny, we'll change our predictions next year as we know more information. Rain, did you want to have a go?
No timeline on this, right? Just this next bull market.
Yeah.
Because when you try to add a timeline in there by January, it just makes a bigger, like, completely inaccurate. But my guess is 50 cents, maybe higher. And here's just the reasoning behind it. So I'm seeing the right things setting up that it will get above normal traction. So like Axie Infinity, why did Axie Infinity hit such astounding numbers? Well, this whole idea of play to earn came about, and it was like the only one that had something really substantive in the play to earn narrative, where people, as it was going crazy, were able to play it in the Philippines and make $2,000 a month. And so it just picked up its own momentum and went absolutely crazy. Vivi owns this digital collectibles narrative, or they're number one in it, other than like the sports, like the segmented NFL All Day and NBA Top Shots. Like Vivi has this digital collectibles, like people that are collecting like Funko Pops, that's a big thing, Marvel collectibles, Disney collectibles. Like, so as people wake up to this digital collectibles idea, they have the majority of the biggest brands out there, and their app is so easy to use, and like people can show it off. So I feel like in this next bull run, it'll get above normal traction. So already, like we saw in the last bear market, it was crazy how hard it was to get Omi, and yet people were like, that was their first purchase. They're like, they're buying Omi, or it was kind of their second, because they had to buy Bitcoin and send Bitcoin over. And for brand new people in crypto, the amount of learning to do that, and yet the number of people that were doing it were incredibly high. Now, there was a secondary factor on why it pumped so much, is because people who had sent it into their app couldn't withdraw it. And so there was less selling pressure than there otherwise would have been. But it was amazing to me how many people came in, and with the difficulty of buying it, were still buying it. In this next bull market, I think it'll be easier to buy. It'll be on more regular, bigger exchanges that people can get access to. And we'll have, and maybe even through the app directly. And so when you combine that plus the burns, which further, not only is it burning some of the supply, but it creates a further FOMO narrative of, oh, they're burning some too. So more people chase those green candles than normal. And so it'll be like the perfect storm. And so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it hit 50 cents.
But dude, that would be like $150 billion market cap. You think? Without major burns.
I think Vivi becomes in the top 10 market caps, and those other market caps will go up. So maybe it's not even quite in the top 10, or Ecomi. Maybe, like, it makes sense that it would hit the top 10 for a while, because it's a big enough brand that, like, as we're talking about what's going on in this partnership with Funko Pops and just Vivi and this party, and the amount of people that are starting to get involved, I'm seeing the right traction coming together. If that, like, Vivi could become a household name in the future. And if that happens, like, Randy will become a household name, which would be fun to watch.
That'd be insane.
But also, like, yeah, like the stars that are created out of this, and the momentum and the clout that comes with this, like Instagram used to not be a thing. Facebook used to not be a thing. And I remember watching as they hit enough traction, and I'm just seeing Vivi and Ecomi making the right decisions so that as digital collectibles become a thing, Vivi is in the number one spot. They're just crushing their competition in this. And they're making the right decisions. It's a bear market. Look at these partnerships they're setting up, and they won't get the credit for these partnerships now until all the money starts coming in the market. And then people will look around and they'll be like, oh my gosh, Vivi's done all this with the biggest brands. And then it just goes absolutely crazy and just absolutely explodes. And, you know, it saddens me to see some people like leaving the space, or, you know, Paul Barron pulled it out their list and like, oh, no longer recommended buy. And literally it was at a low. And I'm just like, you know, I like his channel. I like his stuff, but what does he not understand about this? Because he is missing, for his audience and himself, the biggest opportunity of what I feel like. This is why Ecomi is my number one pick. Is I look for potential risk versus potential return, right? So what is the risks? Well, Dan and David could die. Dan and David could get in a fight and blow things up, and they hate each other and it all goes wrong. They could do something to really piss off the major licensors and get in stuff, or there could be some kind of lawsuit that people start sleeping with other people's wives or whatever. I don't think those are going to happen, any of those, but those are potential risks. Short of that happening, why is Vivi not going to continue to being the number one digital collectibles app as digital collectibles go worldwide? And they will. they're making all the right decisions now. They fixed the tech issue, which was starting to concern me. That's fixed, and not only is it fixed, it's going super well. So where is the risk here? The only risk is they're both in a plane and that crashes. They're both at New York Comic Con and somebody blows up the building or something stupid, right? That could happen. It's just a 1 in 500 chance. So I'm just taking like odds, and I don't see a better risk versus return thing in the crypto space right now. Like I'm in riskier stuff that could outperform it, but I'm gauging like I see VV as in an extremely risky space, much lower than most of the other options, with potential much higher returns than most of the things I'm looking at. Like I like Cardano, and is Cardano as risky as VV? Actually, they're about the same risk. But what is the potential return? Well, I think VV or Ecomi's potential return is much higher than Cardano's for now.
You think they're about the same risk though?
Yes. Well, right now ADA is being attacked by the U.S. SEC, right? And so,
well, yeah, but if they're attacked and lose, then sure to be coins like Omi would also be under the microscope. So they're going after coins like Cardano and ADA because they're the ones that are
the bigger ones,
the big ones, right? So if they lose, everything in the sector loses, so to speak.
Yeah, and I don't think Cardano will lose because the XRP precedent is so strong. But that is a risk. They could, and then the U.S. SEC would be emboldened if, however, there's enough pressure in the U.S. on the politicians to change what the SEC is doing. Even if Gary Gensler should win, him continuing to go after these companies is being, by his own party, is not being seen as making them any more popular, because there's a lot of people coming in that are going to be voters that are single issue voters. How are you on crypto? And Democrats are seen as very crypto unfriendly. And Gary Gensler is the front runner of crypto unfriendly, and he is completely associated with the Democrat Party. And so some of the Democrats are like, hey, you're going to cause us to lose elections here, brother. You better stop. And that's the pressure he's starting to see.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Thanks for that, Rain. That's a really, really good answer. And I love the idea of 50 cents. Like that would make Randy and I would be over $100 million each, I think, roughly.
No,
people won't realize.
No, I'd be close. I wouldn't be. You'd be there.
Fortunes are going to change with this next bull market. Like people that weren't multi-millionaires before are suddenly, and I saw it before, right? I saw some of people that I knew that were investing in Cardano with me last cycle, because Cardano was my number one risk versus return. And it went 200x from the bottom. And I felt like the potential risk was relatively low, though there was risk. And the potential reward had a nice upside. So Cardano was my number one thing. And a lot of the Cardano community got butt hurt when Cardano was at $3 and $3.30, and I wasn't covering it as much. And they're like, why aren't you covering it? I was like, I like to cover good deals. Well, Cardano's going to be a 10. I was like, it might. And in fact, I thought probably it would, but that's like a 3x return. Where's the 50x? And the chance of it pulling back is, so a bunch of my audience like, stop watching. Well, you're not covering Cardano every day. And it's like, Cardano's no longer a good deal. I'm an investment channel. I like making gains. It's about going from a little bit of money to a lot of money. And I'm looking for the best path for that. And right now, like Omi, VV, probably always be passionate about VV, because I'm a nerd by nature. But and I like nerdy stuff. Like I like comic book heroes, even though I didn't read the comic books. I like the Marvel universe. I love the movies. And I love that kind of stuff. And Disney, and like I like collectibles. I love things that go up in value over time. And VV's kind of encapsulated that in a digital format. So I don't have to have my whole house decked out in collectibles in order to store them. I can put them all in maybe something we can showcase in, digital media and social media in the future, which is, if they nail that, they will cement themselves in history. If they make it so you can easily link your social profiles to your VV, like VVverse house or condo or whatever, and they're the first to do that in a big way, yeah, they will be the competition will just not be able to catch up.
That's awesome. Queen Vivi, did you want to have a go at predicting some Omi price
So I guess I'm more of a I'm not as glass full as maybe Rain is, and maybe even Randy. I think I'm a little bit more aligned with Danny, but I think that's maybe just over this next bull cycle. I think the collectibles still have, maybe another cycle. I still think they have 4 or 5 more years.
I gotta run, guys. I'm so sorry. I gotta bounce.
Okay. For adoption.
Randy.
And for Omi, whereas I'm really starting to see a difference, I think, in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Like today, I saw a post saying, Chase now accepts XRP. My husband was in a mall, and I live in Pennsylvania, in a township called Beaver County, in an old dead mall. Basically, he saw a machine with Bitcoin on it. Like,
oh yeah, you sent the picture in our little group chat.
yeah, in
Awesome.
like in the outskirts of Pittsburgh. So I am really starting to see, like just seeing. I think we're almost to the point where who was crypto's biggest threat? It seemed like banking, traditional banking industry, right? They're threatening to take the money, the Fidelities. They're going to take money from that, and it seems like now they're almost starting to go from the if you can't beat them, join them kind of switch. And, now I'm starting to just see more and more with Fidelity and crypto and Chase and crypto and some of these names that are more trustworthy now aligning themselves with crypto. So it seems like I said, we're almost starting to get to the, well, we can't beat them, so now we're going to join them and participate in some of this money. So when I start seeing these kinds of names being associated with XRP and being associated with Bitcoin and seeing these things pop up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, I see it starting to roll now. So I guess my point is I have a lot of hope in general for crypto and adoption and recognition. It's coming pretty quick, especially with the big boys. But I think NFTs and digital collectibles might have a little bit longer of time to get to that adoption cycle. I think they're after the big cryptocurrencies get household name recognition. But I'm seeing it.
SoCal's asking you a question as well. Are you satisfied with the cadence and community? I think communication of VV at the moment and the Ecomi team.
What is the what? The cadence of it?
Yeah, the speed of it, I think.
Yeah, like the pace at which that they're moving and their communication.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. I think they're really starting to move and they're really starting to crank things out, but the token is still lagging behind. And VV is moving forward, but is now a good time for exchanges. Bronze, they're still getting I know we keep saying it, but they're still working on the wait list. And that's the gatekeeper to, supposedly to everything else. So, I would say they're still a little slow on the Omi side, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, that they're not, on major exchanges yet. But definitely more speed and more communication, I would say, on the VV side.
So
right?
They could also be on some other exchange if they want to. All they have to do is come up with a fee, so Binance, the numbers like anywhere from $400,000 to $800,000 to get on there. KuCoin, it's less. But as you get enough momentum later, they come to you and say, we want to put you on, and the fee is suddenly waived. And that's probably what they're waiting for, because why do they need to put out that money onto it? It'd be nice for us, but it's just like a short-term hit. For me, I'm in it for the long term. So I don't know about you guys, but I want it to stay cheap for 6 months. Why? So I can dollar cost average more. I'd love to get the number of that I have. I'm not yet in the hundreds of millions yet. I want to get it there. If I could get a B after that number too, I would. And maybe I'll have some liquidity coming up that I can change it by a drastic amount. But I'm just content dollar cost averaging it, everything below 0.1 cents. Fantastic. It's great. Stay down here for forever. Don't get on the exchanges yet. I'm okay with the exchanges you're on right now. Why? Because I want to stock up. And the longer it stays down like this, the bigger base it builds. And the higher it shoots later. So by all means, don't fix the exchange thing. And their cadence, I'm fine with the development cadence that they put in, and I just want to keep stocking up more at these cheap prices. And not just on Omi, but Omi's one of the ones I probably put about half of my dollar cost average money into. And then the other half goes into riskier stuff that could outperform it, but much riskier, that they might not even survive. Whereas Vivi at this point, I just don't see why the company doesn't survive for the next 4 years, or at least survive until the next bull market. Whereas most of the stuff in crypto, they're like, will it survive into the next bull market? Like Cardano's going to survive, XRP is going to survive, Ecomi's going to survive. Some of the other stuff is market cap of $2 million or 500,000. Is it going to survive into the next bull market? Maybe not. But if it does, and it does well, it could go to market cap of 10 billion. And then you're talking about a, say, 5,000x. Cool. But riskier.
Awesome. Well, we still have 6 months until the Bitcoin halving. So a lot can happen in 6 months. Hopefully they roll out a lot of the utility, which I'm pretty sure is what they're working for. And I reckon they've already got all the exchanges lined up, and they're just waiting to drop them during the bull run. I'm hoping that's what it is, but only time will tell. Danny, what are your thoughts on the cadence?
The cadence has improved a lot over the last 6 months or so since they hired Mitch and some other key people. So I still would like them. I want MCP to roll. I want people to be able to spend their MCP points because they've been accruing them. A lot of people who spent a lot of money on collectibles and have been accruing. So I'd like that to happen. I'd like to have BVverse. I'm patient with it, but I'd like to have it rolled out Q1, next year. After that, it's kind of dragging a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to have the Vverse actually this year because I want to get that MetaQuest 3, and being able to check out the Vverse and MetaQuest 3 would just be so much fun. Definitely a good reason to buy MetaQuest. I've got my Quest 2 here, which is still pretty good. It's pretty awesome.
I got the Quest 2, yeah. But I don't use it too much. Do you use it often?
I've left it out now, so I actually use it a little bit more, probably once a week.
All right.
It's so much fun. It is another world when you put it on, when you really experience it. Depending what you play, what you watch, it's great for watching movies as well, because you've got no surroundings, and you can, you've got different home spaces. There's quite a few settings. Have you mucked around with it at all, with the home space?
A little bit. I haven't. I used it a lot when I first bought it, but I haven't touched it in months.
Yeah. What's crazy is the battery's really good. I left it for 1 month without touching it, and the battery hadn't moved. It still said 100%. I'm like, that's insane. That's a really good battery.
Did you see the interview that Zuckerberg did with Lex Friedman?
Oh, that was intense. Yeah.
That was wild.
Was that using the Quest 3? That wasn't Quest 3, was it? What were they using? Do you know what headset they were using?
I don't
it
know
might have been the Pro. I think it was a Quest 2 Pro.
Just how real they looked inside.
Oh, it looked amazing.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Lex Friedman is really, really good interviewer as well. So him and Mark was awesome. Have you seen them wrestling as well? They did some BJJ together on the mats.
I didn't see it, but I saw that they did.
By the way, is the Elon Musk fight going ahead with Mark Zuckerberg? Because
I think Musk pulled out.
Really? Because I saw Mark training with some MMA guys. He was full on sparring, punching, kicking, everything.
But he's been training for a couple of years anyway.
I think he was mostly training BJJ. Rain. That's the first time I've ever seen him standing fighting. He did really well. He was up against some proper MMA UFC fighters.
It's amazing when you're.
He was really good. He's been training for a while. He's not to be messed with.
Yeah,
I'm trying to become a billionaire myself. So when I hire trainers, I'm hiring former MMA champion XYZ, right? So it's instead of the local guy who once fought in the UFC. It's amazing when you have money how you can get trained by the very best. And it's amazing when you get trained by the very best, you become pretty good.
Well, listen, we got Josh Emmett. I've interviewed him on the Queen's Court. He fights in the UFC. So, he also has Vivi and Omi. So I could hook you up once it hits 50 cents.
Nice. Smart guy.
Although he takes freezing ass cold ice baths every morning. So I don't know,
Do you know his record?
Even your top business people are doing that these days. The ice baths, it resets what's called your allostatic load, and so you actually wake up more refreshed. It clears your stress that you're carrying all the time.
Yeah, it moves all the lymph stuff around as well, and like it just helps the body a lot and helps your mental clarity. Have you guys done cold showers? I do it every now and then.
No,
I hate doing it, but I do it once in a while.
It's torture. I don't
It's
believe
painful. It's painful. Yeah, but if
I
you
do the sauna a couple times a week, and that does not. It's not as good as cold showers, but it does similarly.
Yeah, here's the thing about cold showers, right? If you do it in the morning, and that's the hardest part of your day is your shower, then everything else is up from there, right? Like it puts everything in perspective. So you got to make a tough business phone call. That's not that hard. I just had a cold shower. It was like almost pure pain for like 5 minutes or whatever.
It does. It increase your discipline, right? And that discipline carries over into other successful things. So what's interesting is to see the business environment change. You're starting to see all the, like 30 years ago, all the business guys that were heavy into business were fat, balding, like not taking care of anything, right? But your top performers today are realizing, and you take care of your body, then your mind works better. And so there's a lot of research, and some of it is in social media. You just have access to information you didn't used to have access to. So the amount of learning that is going on is exponential. And so people are figuring out how important it is that you just perform better when you take care of these things. And the cold showers, just what it does for you, and discipline, right? So if you what is it, Wes Watson, the guy that was in prison, he got out, and 5 years later is making $2.5 million a month. And he gets himself up at like 2:45 every morning and does his workout at 4. And that's part of his thing. And it's just setting your, just dragging and make your body do things it doesn't want to do, because it increases your ability to do other things you don't want to do.
Yeah, I think Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart both wake up at like 4 a.m. and work out in the gym. Maybe it's 3 a.m. They get up like 3 or 4, and they it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I get up about 5 or 6, but I can't imagine getting up at like 3 a.m. That's the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person, so the last thing I'd want to do is work out at 3 a.m.
Yeah, me too.
That will be one of the last fine-tuning things if I ever get to it, because I like my sleep, right? I like 7-8 hours. And
I want to see 3 a.m. if it's still from that day. If it like I want to see 3 a.m. at the VV party, but I don't like, it's got to be from that day, not in the morning.
When I used to go out partying a lot, I'd stay up to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And I always said, like, it's not the next day until you've gone to sleep. So even if I'm not going to sleep till like 5 a.m., it's not the next day till I've gone to sleep, right? It's still the same day.
It's still the
day just extends.
Yeah, that's the only time I want to see 3 a.m. But, to each his own. I think, Rain, you probably found some of the hardest things is just starting, right? Like just getting yourself back on track. Just doing something small, to try to change. If you could just get through one workout or like one set, it makes the next set easier. So
one of the big challenges is we try to change everything right away and we exhaust ourselves, right? So there's this thing called the 1% rule, where it's like, I want to get 1% better at that. So like I had a friend that just went in and she let her weight get to like 300 pounds. And she's like, okay, I'm going to make this transformational diet. And she has this coach and everything. She buys all this food and she lasts about 3 weeks. And the reason is like, you just can't sustain that, right? So the changes in the success rate on diet change like that is like 5% or less. In long term, it's even less than that. But use the 1% rule. I want to get 1% better. And so my goal is for the next 2 months is to get 1% better than I was. Very easy to hit. And then you start to get addicted to that improvement. Right. And the same thing with like wealth and crypto. Like crypto, I tell people like in 2 cycles, you can make life-changing wealth in crypto. Like, why not? What else are you going to do? And this is something you can do on the side, on top of what you're already doing. You do have to really want it because the bear markets are going to really wear on you. And it's hard to watch your portfolio down, but this is something very doable over 2 markets that you can make, or 2 cycles. You can make 10 million, you can make $100 million. I know somebody that made $1 billion in that time, but he's exceptionally good. So billion isn't normal. Doable, but they have to really want it, and they try to make it all happen like right away, and they fail. Like the truth is, like little bits at a time, we can change ourselves a lot over a longer period of time. So like my workout journey really started 1.5 years, but at first it just was like walking a half a mile at a time and a tiny bit of weights. And I had to work up to more so that I didn't like burn out, right? I knew if I went to the gym forever, I was heavy enough at 280, I go to the gym and run on the treadmill and try to run 2 or 3 miles at a time, I'm going to blow out my knees. And then like the whole workout, the whole life changes over. So little bits of time, you can get like an amazing journey, but you just like, okay, realistic expectations, just change a little bit of behavior, because we can easily sustain small changes over time, but big change over time, you're going to burn yourself out. It's not going to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've heard sort of like 28 days is a good time period to start a new habit. If you can do the same thing for 28 days, it generally sticks. And like you said, if you use small changes for 28 days, about a month, then it'll just become habit, and it becomes easy once it becomes habit because you don't put any effort in.
Yeah.
So I think about why we as humans do the things that we do all the time, because we're very emotional creatures. So when I set a goal, like I don't say I'm going to go to the gym 5 times this week. When I'm not working out, I'm saying I want to go to the gym at least once per week. That way, if I go 5 times, great, the bonus. But that way, on the weeks where I only make it once, that's a victory still. And I'm not beating myself up. I'm not shame spiraling. Oh, you're a failure. You didn't hit your goal, right? Because there are going to be weeks where I'm new enough at this, I'm burnt out, and I only make it to the gym once. And I can say, hey, that was a win. I made it. I didn't even want to go that once, but I did it.
Yeah.
Then after a while, you can up it to 2. And then later you can up it to 3. And I don't see a point in making it above 3. You just get lots of bonus time in if you want.
Danny, we got I love golf. He always likes Rain wearing his sunglasses. He goes crazy over it. In my comments, he's always like, Rain needs sunglasses. Danny the Bull, do you go gym?
No, I haven't worked out a day in my life.
He just naturally looks.
I also went like 2 decades without gaining a pound. So I only started putting on weight probably in the last 3 years, in my 40s. And even so, I went up like 1 pant size. You know what I mean? So I've always played sports and I've always been active. So my kids keep me moving, but I never.
Yeah, I was about to say the kids are like a workout, man. They're always hanging off my arms and stuff. And
I get my steps in. Yeah, I'm always active.
Yeah, so just keeping up with the kids is difficult enough.
Yeah,
that's funny. We got about wrap it up in about 5 minutes, guys. Got to have my lunch here. Rain's got the sunglasses on. Woohoo!
Queen Vivi, you have Al Khan coming on your Queen's Court soon?
Yes, Mr. Khan will be on the court tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
awesome. Nice. So that's about half an hour back from now tomorrow. So
yes, an hour later from when you start.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is he going to be at Comic-Con?
Perhaps. Yeah.
And he got the good genes.
Yeah, he's
go pick a bit.
We're going to get a lot of Al at New York.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much for coming on, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's watching. You know, it's great to have these discussions. I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed the conversation. You know, it's always a bit of fun. Yeah, if everyone wants to just go around and give their last little bits before we go.
Yeah, so I'll talk because I'm not shy, right? Like, so I'm in this potentially for different reasons than some of the audience. Some of the audience is really passionate about VV and collectibles, which I am. I'm passionate about turning little bits of money into huge bits of money. And I grew up pretty poor. And so that was always important to me because money gives you options. And we're in this position in time where like those things align. So if you're just here for the fun, well, it's going to be fun too, that some of your things will do really, really well. I'm big on the Ecomi token at these prices because for my own thoughts, I think it'll do really well from here. I can't tell you what to do. For those that are interested in on the investing side, because that's what I'm good at. Like a lot of people, panelists and other things, they have better knowledge than I do on the comic side. Some people have much better VV knowledge that they follow it every day, and I follow it pretty closely. What I specialize in, I follow the investment side for forever because that's always been passionate. And before crypto, I had 20 years other investing experience and just 6 years in crypto. And so that's what I think about the investment side. How do I turn little bits of money into a lot of bits of money? So hopefully for those that are just here for the collectible side, you can get excited about what I think about the investment side. For those here for the investment side of it, well, great. We speak exactly the same language, and that's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Daniel, anything you want to say to the audience?
Yeah, I'm just excited about this week, man. New York Comic Con. Hope I get to see and meet a bunch of people from the community in real life at the parties at New York Comic Con and get to see the team again and things like this. So it's going to be a great, fun week.
Will you be live streaming at all? Because I'm so jelly of you guys.
No, I mean, the service at the Javits Center typically sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
No, fair enough.
But I'm going to do like reviews for sure. I'll hop on and, do some reviews.
Oh, cool. So there'll be some videos at some point, maybe.
Yeah,
I'll
definitely talk about my experience.
Awesome. Queen Vivi?
I'm just really excited for this week. Vivi just continues to, put out as promised. If you'd even look back a year and a half ago, we were hoping, praying, maybe they had Marvel, maybe they had Disney, and you fast forward now to where, we have so many brands and we just kind of on like Sesame Street, we have so much going on. We're partnering with Funko. We're, going to have Vivi exclusive covers at the Marvel booth. I mean, all the things from a Vivi side are going really well, and you have to be pleased. And the cherry on the top is, of course, the community. And this weekend or this week at Comic-Con, there's just so much going on with the Vivi party, the having the gold logo card, and what that's going to do for those holders. Sanjay's rooftop party, thing's just going to be. It was crazy last year. So I think Randy and I did a stream last year. So we'll probably do a little stream from Sanjay's party.
I'm looking forward to that.
I don't know if we're going to be able to, film inside the Vivi one too much, but I'm definitely at Sanjay's party. So, this is really good for the team and a lot to be looking forward to. And they're really making steps.
Definitely take some videos.
Talking about, they're making steps and they're taking chunks of that household, chunks towards that becoming a household name. And, now we'll just see if it does what we think it's going to continue to do. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Laurie.
Thanks.
Well, I'm gonna end it there. Thanks so much for everyone watching. Make sure you like and subscribe on everyone here. And stay tuned for probably Al Khan tomorrow with Queen Vivi. Make sure you check out
on Twitter, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yes, we are going to talk about how you could get that gold logo and some of the ways you can catch up with Al this week at Comic-Con.
Yep, and you're linked below as well. If anybody wants to click the link below to Queen Vivi's Twitter, and make sure you click the notification. All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.